Hello, vinyl community. Hey, how you doing? Great to see each and every one of you, and welcome to Beetle Brad's channel. Alan C. Records has a great channel, and he shows lots of great vinyl and 45s, and he comes up with a lot of great ideas. So, his video that he's done was about my first job. So, Matthew Street has done a video, and Joe Mayo has done a video as well. So I thought, why not? Beetle Brad, you ought to do a video as well. But I worked at a restaurant in Indianapolis, Indiana called Loeffner's. It was a cafeteria. And I worked there from 78 to 79. But the sad thing about my video is there will be no Happy Meals. There will be no fun meals. There will be no joy or happy kids treats or any kind. It was a tough job. It started off on a rainy day. Not much fun at all for my first day of rain and downpour in my job of being a busboy in a cafeteria. I had a bad boss. A boss who had a ruthless and mean boss who ran an iron ship, but I did not know that when I first started. I would see employees crying in the back and go comfort them to find out what was wrong, and they said, it's just a hard job. And I figured, how hard could it be to bus tables? But it was like no other restaurant anywhere else in the country. It had big dining rooms, and we had to bus tables. Many tables, and we were short-handed. They ran us hard, and we never got breaks. The guy broke all kinds of rules in what was going on in this restaurant. We never got breaks to eat, and we kept saying that we're hungry. A lot of us would eat off of the food that people didn't eat off of their tray as we were bussing the tables. Off of their own food trays. It was horrible. The place was always desolate. It was a dark-looking place, but it was a big restaurant. Big place to work, and I was tired all the time of bussing tables. The place was so bad, one of our managers one night actually locked himself in the office and put a gun to his head and was going to shoot himself while he was sleeping. Luckily, he fell asleep and the gun fell and went off, but it didn't shoot him. The gun just went off on its own. And it was terrible because he was going to shoot himself, which would have been a horrible tragedy. This manager could not be fired because he was the son's owner of this restaurant. People would come in, but not bring children or Happy Meals or any happiness of any kind. One day, we weren't doing that good of a job, and our manager called us into the back kitchen, all of us busboys. We were all terrified of him as he stepped back into the kitchen. We could hear his footsteps coming closer and closer. As he pushed the door open in the back to the kitchen, he yelled at all of us, "Stand up! I want to see all of you at one time," he said. And this is my true story of my boss and my first job. Somebody did something wrong in the dining room. I don't remember what it was, and I don't remember what happened. But my manager got so mad that he grabbed one of the pans off of the stove that was still cooking and picked up a hot pan of grease, and he threw it right into one of the guys' faces. He screamed with agony. He screamed with pain. We all yelled. He got third-degree burns all over his face, and his parents were furious. They were going to fire him. They wanted the boss out of there, but he still kept his job, even though he scalded this guy for life. It was not a good job. Things got darker and darker as I worked. We did not get tips. We did not make any extra money. All we got was the regular paycheck. And even that wasn't enough to satisfy us in this job. He was an angry man taking out his anger and frustration out on all of us employees that were busboys to make our day miserable. With no food or drink, he would dump our drinks into the dumpster and tell us there's no breaks during your shift. It was a miserable, hateful job. I would come home at the end of the day, worn out and ready to quit. But I finally got to quit my job, and that was the best day ever. Because this job was the worst job I've ever had. I never saw the guy who got scalded in the face with the grease, but I did hear he got plastic surgery so he could resculpture his face again because it was hot, scalding oil from the stove. So if you decide, my younger viewers, to get a job, don't get a job in a cafeteria where you've got a angry, violent boss. You won't live to regret it.